Okay, lock and load.
Hoochie coochie.
Test 1, 2, 3. She set me free. Okay, today's lesson is going to be on JKD rear straight punching. And but before I get into that, I wanted to clarify a little bit about a couple of the kicking portions of the instructionals. In regards to chambered position, in regards to the lead leg kicks, that all the kicks can be thrown from this diagonal position and return to that position, or that they can be thrown from their more direct chambered position. So what I mean by that is that if I lift up in this diagonal position, that I can go ahead during the kick and straighten it out and come back in again. Okay, so that would be, in that tape we were covering the vertical hook kick, all right? But it could also be applied to the straight kick, all right, or the thrust kick. And so the other version is simply that it would lift straight up. Okay, so all the kicks can be done in those two fashions. We'll discuss the why later. In regard to the rear leg kicks, okay, I was having trouble with the angle of the camera and seeing myself on the screen for various reasons. But what you need to know is that my front foot does not stay in the same position when I lift this leg up. Basically, kicking with the rear leg is like stepping through. So your supporting foot has to end up turning, okay? So when I lift up in the chambered position, I already have turned my rear foot at a 45-degree angle, okay? So when I throw the kick, whether it's a hook kick or a thrust kick, it will come back to this position before either dropping forward or before coming back again. So that's what I meant to articulate in both the lead leg kicking and the rear leg kicking that we've done so far. And of course we will expand upon that as well. So, excuse me.
Still recording.
So we're going to throw the rear tools, the rear straight punches from the open position. All right. And basically I'm going to start off with showing you the difference between the rear straight and the cross. Okay. And the basic understanding, I'm going to go ahead and just do a stationary one where I'm going to turn my rear foot just a little bit to throw the cross. And I'm going to go ahead and lift my elbow and my shoulder up to protect myself. But you can see that the punch is moving. Well, it's starting to rain a little bit, so you're going to get some good sound effects. You can see that on the cross that it actually crosses from its outside position to the center. And then I'm trying to protect myself underneath, okay? Now on the rear straight, I'm going to go ahead and shift off the line already, okay? And open my foot up a bit and basically throw a rear straight. Again, I want to tuck under it. I want the shoulder to be under my shoulder, but I'm not throwing it like a corkscrew like I did with the cross, okay? All right, so let's do a few of the crosses. So the cross is done somewhat like a corkscrew. And what you want to understand is that you're also really not moving from left to right with your stance so much, but you're going to open a little bit, but because your punch is already crossing over, you have to open less with your stance than you would have done with a rear straight punch. All right? Okay, so let's do a few of these. You can see my front foot really isn't turning much at all, but my body is. And again, those angles will change based upon the situation. Okay, I'm going to do the rear straight now. I'm also going to do it from an open position. It can be done from the closed position as well, but it's primarily thrown from the open position because you're closer. Okay, and what you're going to see now is that when I push off, is that I open this way. Okay, so that I'm here and here. All right. And I'm returning each time. I'm not closing the door. We know about closing the door already, but I'm not going to close the door right now. I want to let the flies in. Okay, so let me close the door. Okay, close the door for you. Okay, so that was the rear cross and the rear straight punch. Okay, now just like the lead straight punch, there will be times where the vertical fist and the shovel punch are applicable as well. There will be times where the back fist can fill in a gap as well in regards to angling off. Okay, and then of course we get into the closer range punches, which are the bent arm blows or hook punches. And basically, you know, hook punching just means your arm is bent on various lines in various ways. Okay, so I think because there's more punches actually with the front hand than there is with the rear, so to speak, that we'll go ahead and add some of the bent arm blows in this video cycle as well, this video lesson as well. All right. So we'll start with the vertical uppercut with the push-off step, and again, it's going to be pretty much like the cross, into where I'm not opening up in this direction, but basically I'm turning my left towards the center a little bit, here like this. All right. You want to be in a crouch, all right, and you don't really want to drop your hand first, all right. So usually an uppercut is not an initial action. It's not the first punch that you throw. Okay, you might have ducked already, or bob and weave, or you might have shoulder roll, okay, or you might have blocked and then come in with it. All right. So just take it for granted that it's usually not done as a single attack in regards to an initial response. It can be. I mean, it can be an interception. We've seen it. You've seen it in the ring. You've seen it in boxing, and it can be an interception. But the point is that it usually requires some sort of prep as a load up. All right. That time I did angle out a bit. So sometimes you'll see me keep my front foot rather straight, and other times you'll see me angle out a little bit with it, okay? The action is here. Driving off the rear foot, hips bending towards the line. Three bottom knuckles. Because I angled out, I closed the door. Okay, so then we have the 45-degree angle uppercut. Sometimes some people refer to that as a shovel hook. And there are some discrepancies in regards to what a shovel hook is. All right, between different practitioners of JKD. It's just terminology. I think pretty much everyone does both the vertical and 45. All right, so this one will be the 45, and I'll go ahead and angle out with it. You can go to the body, but again, usually there's some kind of prep. Whoops, that was too vertical. I went back into vertical hold. Okay, that time I doubled up on it. Okay, and then we'll go into the rear hook punch. I'm just going to do a stationary version of it for now. I'm just going to turn my rear foot just straight like this. So I'm going to let my punch travel diagonal. And I'm going to make it elliptical in its return. That time I tapped into it. Just the turning of the rear foot. My elbow is slightly lower as to make impact on the three bottom knuckles and driving through. That time I just dropped into a level change. And went body, head. Okay, so rear hook punch. That represents the horizontal line. Okay, and lastly, we'll do the rear overhand. And I will step off the line with a push step on the outside. See it now? Have to get the elbow up to create the angle. Driving down, through, and back to cover. That time I leaned into it a little bit more. Here I keep my back straight a little bit more. Okay, all right, so we've got the rear cross. We have the rear straight. We said sometimes you can go shoulder or lead with it as well, depending on the situation. Haven't got into that yet, just mentioned it. And then talked about the vertical uppercut, the diagonal uppercut, the rear hook punch, and the overhand. All right, okay, so now let's go ahead and do a couple of combinations where we advance and retreat. So I'll go ahead and use the rear straight punch. Advance, retreat. Okay. Then I'll retreat and advance. Retreat, advance. And again, I'm isolating the rear. Logically, the lead tool would come back into play much quicker. Logically, kicking would come into play. Kneeing, elbowing, initiating grappling, what have you. Or just running away. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 more across. And then a big hook. Okay, boys. Thank you so much. That's a little bit of rear punching from JKD curriculum. Have a good one. And see you tomorrow.